What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Nitro from the Outerhaven.net, and this is Gear Xrd Sign for Steam. Guilty Gear is a fast-paced, highly technical 2D fighting game series developed by Arc System Works. Players fight head-to-head in a variety of standard 2D arenas using various attacks, special moves, cinematic supers, and defensive techniques, along with both ground and aerial movement to reduce each other's life bar to 0. The latest rendition of Guilty Gear Xrd features stunning graphics, a hard-rocking soundtrack, a streamlined battle system, and a roster of 17 unique and stylish characters. Graphically, this is one of the most visually impressive fighting games to date. It uses the versatility and camera angles of 3D modeling, yet it retains a beautiful and stylish, hand-drawn anime-esque kind of feel. The soundtrack is full of energy and fits the theme of the game incredibly well, and is something you can appreciate even if you're not a fan of rock. The game is fully voiced in both English and Japanese, comes with a variety of sound options including unlockable extra background music, and character announcers. For example, in this video I'm using Japanese voices and the character Elko is my announcer. There are plenty of gameplay modes for you to enjoy, including local and online versus, classic modes such as arcade and survival, and even a pure story mode that lets you sit back and enjoy the storyline as if you're watching an anime. That story clocks in at about 5 hours. So, there's plenty of content to keep you entertained. Now, Guilty Gear is admittedly not a very easy fighting game to get into, especially for beginners to the fighting game genre. There's a large number of system mechanics and options that you have to learn. There's fast pace and the precise timing that's required for you to do many of the options that are available to you, and it can all make learning how to play extremely difficult. But the game does have a very effective lesson and trial mode that goes a long way in teaching you everything that you need to know to get started. Xrd itself is a great fighting game, and one that I recommend for dedicated newcomers and series veterans. But the Steam version in particular doesn't really offer much to those who already own the console version of the game, or really to anyone who owns a PS4. The graphics of the PC version in particular are definitely on par with the PS version, but I did experience some graphical issues and poor resolution in certain areas of the game. Using a regular controller or arcade stick is pretty simple. All you need to do is plug it in, and the game seems to register all PlayStation and Xbox controllers just fine. However, when I did try PlayStation controllers, it did get the button map wrong, but the easy button configuration means that this isn't a very big deal. The Steam version does support some standard PC features, like changing resolution and anti-aliasing, but beyond that, nothing was really added to set the PC version apart from its console predecessor that came out a year ago. On top of that, the PlayStation versions have crossplay with each other, and a better developed lobby system. The PC version scaled back on the lobby system to give you just a more basic experience, which was a big disappointment to be perfectly honest. Ultimately, the Steam version isn't lacking in any of the important gameplay details. The port was solidly done. All the gameplay modes are there, visually it looks great, still plays well, frame rate's fine. You know, there's not too much bad that can be said about actually being in the game and fighting, but it doesn't really have any extra bells and whistles, and is actually missing a few of the features from the PlayStation versions, which is surprising considering, like I said before, the other versions came out a year ago. The netplay also seems a bit more unstable on the PC version than it does on the PlayStation version. Player connections sometimes randomly drop to 0 bars, and oftentimes the lobby itself seems unstable. But Arc System Works has already acknowledged the fact that the netcode is a bit buggy, and they're working on patching it. We'll see what happens in the future. Furthermore, early adopters get free access to all of the game's DLC, which is pretty good since the game will run you less than $30. It does need to be mentioned that this version of the game will be obsolete when the new version, Revelator, comes out in a few months. But it's nice that at least for a little while, PC users have access to the most current version of Guilty Gear, even though it's not the definitive version. If you'd like to see a more detailed write-up on the Guilty Gear Xrd Sign port, feel free to check out our site at theouterhaven.net. Like and subscribe to keep up with all of our latest content. I'm Nitro from theouterhaven.net. Thanks for watching.